What was it like for you to see this cryptocurrency you started as a joke that was meant to parody and satirize and point out a subset of the issues in like the crypto culture and in the marketing of these cryptocurrencies? What's it feel like to see it listed on Robinhood and marketed to retail traders years later, and to see things like that going where it's now more prominent than it ever was, but is still fundamentally very similar technically to what it was when it was launched as a joke years and years ago?
Yeah, it's surreal. I realize it's a lot earlier than a lot of other people have. Like, I think that Bored Apes, for instance, are just an extension of the same kind of lunacy, which has built itself around something like Dogecoin.
That's actually another coin, by the way, Luna C, just so we all know.
I feel like it's really just indicative of this like broader problem where people are attaching value to something that has no value, that is funny, I guess. That's the thing, is like the joke feels a little old now. It's a bit overdone. Like I was done with the joke after a few months. And so the thing I always have to remind myself about cryptocurrencies is that the demand isn't actually like organic. The demand is entirely artificial, in that it is produced through, celebrity sponsorships or false advertising or, fake trading volume, which then gets people in the doors.
You were interested and excited about memes, which I think, everyone still widely uses memes to get their message across. But
Sure.
As you just said, like, usually a meme dies within a few weeks, months at the most. Like, you don't see memes years and years later getting used very often generally. Is it the financialization of this that gives Dogecoin this kind of like staying power? Or like, what do you think it is that has kept this going for so long?
I usually don't comment on Dogecoin because like everybody's like, why don't you just leave it alone, dude? Like, you're not involved anymore. Why do you have to have an opinion about it, kind of thing. But I actually don't know if it did have a lot of staying power. It was like on a steady decline until like 2021. It hadn't organically picked back up. Like the Reddit was like a ghost town. It was basically dead to the point that, around in 2020 or 2021, when it started to tick back up, like I had to remind a few people, I'm like, there hasn't been a release on the Git repo in like 2.5, 3 years. One, that's a sign that it's not really being actively developed. But two, like I worry about the security, enhancements that haven't been pulled in from the upstream Bitcoin branch, but whatever. And they've obviously gone in now that it's all famous and everything, that dev team have fixed that. But I think that that's what I was getting back to about how everything is artificial. I firmly believe that if a certain, billionaire wouldn't have tweeted about it, that it probably would have faded into non-existence.
It's pretty interesting. I'm looking at the Google Trends page for Dogecoin for the past 5 years. And man, you're absolutely right. It has two big pop-offs pretty much centered around when Elon was talking about it a bunch. And it has gone way down way fast. And I think that's right. You're right. Like that's how memes work. So no one should be surprised by this. Of course, that's what happened. Do you have a hypothesis of why Elon started talking about it?
Bennett's like, Jackson's going to be very careful in what he says right now. And I don't like starting fights. Like, gosh, the last time I talked to a journalist about Elon Musk, it was like oh my God, I had to like just walk away from my computer for 2 days.
Neither Bennett nor I are big fans of Elon Musk. If he wants to come on the podcast for whatever silly reason, I would love to ask him a bunch of not fun questions.
Maybe it's just like he, in his day-to-day, like thought something was funny and that's why he won't shut up about it. Like, I think he has shown that he's a person that does a lot of things on a whim. So maybe that's it. I do think, and, I'm not alleging anything, I'm just saying an observation. I think it is interesting that the person who manages Elon Musk's family office is an advisor to the Dogecoin Foundation. I think that's interesting. I don't know. I'm not inside the head of the guy, so I can't speak to his.
Jared Burchell, Elon Musk's fixer, is listed on the Dogecoin Foundation board. Jared claims he's in no way affiliated with Dogecoin Foundation and has no idea why his name is there, but it's certainly fascinating. And it's like especially fascinating when you consider that the criticisms that Elon leveled at Bitcoin surrounding like its energy usage and things like that apply equally the same to Dogecoin, which at the same time he was promoting. I think it's certainly plausible that like Dogecoin drew his attention because, oh, look, it's the Doge meme, but in crypto. And crypto bros love Elon. And that was the extent of his critical thinking on the issue. That is absolutely plausible. But that's always been a connection that smelled real fishy to me with Jared being listed there.
Elon is one of those people that likes to build a cult of very faithful followers around him. And I think that he does that through a way, as a lot of kind of cult leaders, people that kind of have these cult of personality do, is they like to soften that in a way that seems playful, in a way that seems fun by, you know, I'm releasing a flamethrower, ha ha ha, right? Yeah. Going really hardline into something like a more serious cryptocurrency, if you want to call Bitcoin more serious, I think is probably a little bit harsher than being able to say, it's just about the memes. It's just about the memes, and then building kind of a loyal following around that. And so I think that probably also has something to do with it, is that it's a lot easier to swallow than going to Bitcoin and all of a sudden like you're interfacing with people who are like, I only eat raw meat and read the Bible. It's the only book I read. Like that's the kind of like Bitcoin personality these days. And
my calendar is base 16.
Right.
So that's a dig at a very specific Bitcoiner that none of our audience are going to get.
Yeah.